Hey, this is Joe. So I'm working again on my 1979 Honda CBX, and the paint has finished drying. So I'll give you a look at what the frame and swing arm looks like now, and then I'm going to start prepping the engine for paint next. Enjoy. So here is the frame after the paint is finished drying. I'm pretty happy with how everything looks. Looks like I got pretty good coverage. There's still some places that are not perfect, but the area where there was a bunch of rust, that's all been cleaned up and then recoated with paint, so we don't have to worry about rust underneath this. And then here is the swing arm. So I'll show you the other side of that. So you can see some of the repair that I did under the metal, but the rest of it looks pretty good. So I brought the engine into the paint tent. So I pulled off the rubber intake boots and then taped them off, taped up a couple of places, and then I'm starting to work away at cleaning the rest of this engine. You can tell it looks pretty grimy, and then it looks like this is some material that had melted off of the, I think it was the ignition coils or the ignition modules. So I'm gonna go through, see if I can remove this just so I've got a clean surface, and then I'll have to hit some of the other places to see how well I can clean it. So it looks like at least the top of this can be removed with a plastic scraper. And if we take some isopropyl alcohol, we should be able to get off the rest of the residue. So let's try that and see how well this does. So yeah, that does do a nice job. I'm a big fan of this higher proof isopropyl alcohol. The higher proof you get, the less fragrance they have in it. I also use this stuff for my 3D printer to keep it clean. I think if you get something lower than 91, sometimes it does have, you know, lavender scents or other things to make it a little more pleasant. But you can see that's working really well. So I'm just using a little bit of my nail to get off the residual material, but I do need to scrape away at this thicker stuff because the isopropyl alcohol alone is not getting that off. So for the stuff that's a little harder, I can use the screwdriver, and that'll take off the top layer a little bit better. That's as clean as I can get it right now, but it looks much better. I'll also use an engine degreaser, and I'll spray some of this down here. And I'll just work my way through a bunch of this grease. Goal is to get the surface clean enough and back to whatever paint is remaining, and then that'll give a better surface for the paint to stick. But yeah, it makes it tricky when you got all these little crevices and things you need to get into. Make sure it's clean. Also got a small nylon brush that can help me out a little bit with some of these tight spaces. So I prepped the engine. It's all clean to the best of my ability. And then I masked up everything I did not want painted. I'm gonna start with a engine enamel primer. So this is from VHT. You have to make sure when you're painting the engine, you use something that is resistant up to these high temperatures. So I'm gonna put on a couple coats of this. And then I went online and found a color that should match what the original engine looked like. And this is DE1615 aluminum. So I'm gonna use Duplicolor. I have 2 cans of this. So after the primer dries, then I'm gonna hit it with the paint.
Tell me what you want.
Okay, done. So number 2. Half an hour, and then we'll start with the paint. All right, so now it's time for paint. Number 2. Still number 3. All right, so the paint's done. I'm gonna let it dry for 2 days, and then it should be ready to put back in. Thanks for watching.